We'll call the regular meeting in the New Ulm City Council for March 6, 2018, 4:30 PM to order. First item on the agenda is your consent agenda items.
I'll offer a motion to approve those.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items. Any discussion on any? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 2A, from the city manager regarding the results of the 2017 Special Archery Hunt Deer Control Program. Brian?
Mr. President, City Council members, the city Special Archery Deer Hunt Control Program is in its 27th consecutive year next year. If you approve the program for 2018, we had 61 deer harvested by 56 hunters. This is tied for the third highest harvest since the program was authorized. We did have a 70 or 71 a few years back, but that was an extremely warm year. We've opened up a couple of other locations that allowed us to go from 50 to 56 hunters, and that's worked out rather well. We're continuing to look at other locations within the city because it's not just one part of the community that has the deer eating the shrubs and flowers problem. Although we did not sign up to have the DNR do a survey of the deer that are found within the city limits. It's been a few years since we've done that. The anticipated cost was around $1,800 to $2,000, and I thought we'd base it off of the actual deer hunt totals. So we're pretty consistent, even though it's high. We're pretty consistent with the past 3-4 years, and based on that, I don't know that we're being overrun by deer. It just seems like there's a lot of deer in the community, but I think they're in other locations now that we weren't used to really probably paying attention to them. I mean, down on 7th and 7th South and Railroad tracks, there's a herd that's down there, and currently we don't actually have a hunting stand, but we'll be looking for, a location back in that area. We looked at a couple locations a couple of years ago and decided against it, but we may have to revisit that because they're around. So at this point in time, I guess I would recommend that the City Council consider reauthorizing the hunt for 2018. We would then meet with the DNR to go over the rules and the program, which I think they'll be more than happy to extend it one more year based on these results.
I would certainly support that action. The only area that I would like to see maybe more discussion that we've talked a little bit about the last couple of years is our out-of-town hunters who aren't in town as much to hunt as maybe the local hunters are. And I don't know if we can limit that number of hunters to allow more local hunters to be able to apply. That can be part of that discussion this year. We had 56 permits. We've been having that for 3 years. I'm not hearing the complaints as much, and I don't know if people are just sick of complaining about too many deer. But we're still staying in that same average the last 4 or 5 years. So that was the only thing I could think of that maybe could increase the deer taken. It would be to have more local hunters would have more time to hunt in our area, because the number of hours, if you look at the number of hours hunted, is down in comparison by about 300 hours. So I don't know if we had a lot of out-of-towners this last year or not.
No, I don't know that was
Just
necessarily,
bad weather, or
it's just the timing of when people can get out. And
is that something we can do? I mean, can we say only 10% of the people can come from out of town, or?
I don't know of any of the programs that actually do that,
Yeah.
but it's something we can ask. We can get back to you.
Worth a
on it.
discussion on a point.
Yeah,
All right.
we have had discussions about if you sign up and never go,
Right.
should
right.
you be allowed to qualify the next year because you took a spot, but
Right.
then didn't even make an attempt.
Mhm.
So we've had those discussions,
Right.
but we've been monitoring. And if there's anybody that's not hunting, it's usually because they've got a reason they can't,
Sure.
broke my leg, I can't hunt,
Yep.
In which case, then what we do is we take people from maybe a non-productive location that they're just not seeing any deer, and we slide them into those open spots where people have said, I can't hunt anymore, and or I shot my 3 deer and I'm done. We move people around.
Okay.
So it's not for lack of trying to get people out on the good sites.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, this kind of comes up every year, but we actually draw names out of a hat, draw numbers out of a hat as to which site you get. It's not the one person gets the same site year after year after year. That might have happened a few years or decades back. It's not the way it's done now. That way, one person just doesn't control a particular site. It's by luck of the chance. Numbers are drawn out of a hat, and if you're hunter number 6, when they pull your number 6 out for a particular site, that's what you get. We do have 2 sites that actually are on private property where the hunter is the owner of the land, in which case, we really aren't going to tell somebody that, no, you can't hunt your own land, but
Right.
somebody else is going to. So we do allow that, but those are only 2 situations, and they're in our hunt area, so it works out.
So with 56 permits, how many people apply?
We get about anywhere from 100 to 115
Really?
people apply. So you got to, it's like a 50-50 chance.
Okay.
And in past years, the scoring is the perfect score is 300, and it's been getting cut off in that 270 area. And what that means is you get 1 or 2 arrows in the lungs, but not in the heart. Out of 15 arrows, 2 are still lethal, but you get knocked 10 points or 5 points per just hitting them in the lungs. So all you need is a couple arrows that are just a half an inch outside the heart, and you're down to 275 and getting close to not even getting in. So the competition is quite fierce.
So with that, I'll offer the motion as stated.
Second. We got a motion and a second, accepting the report. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 3A, 1 and 2, consider ordinance amending section 9.04 of the city code of the city of New Ulm relative to zoning of said city. Second reading of ordinance numbers 18-023, 5th series, and a motion to adopt ordinance number 18-023, 5th series. And Roger isn't here.
All right,
Do we want to make him read it?
I'm ready. All right then.
I'll offer a motion to waive the reading and adopting ordinance 18023.
Seconded.
We have a motion and a second to adopt an ordinance and waive the reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 3B, consider awarding the contract to perform a conditions assessment of the base of the Herman Monument to McDonald and Mack Architects for the base cost of $55,000 with an additional service of $3,000 to $4,000 if needed. Brian?
I think we should hear
All
from
right.
these folks, huh?
What's that?
We should hear from Elwood or
Yeah, we
you
can
or
hear with, if
whoever.
Elwood wants to come up, be prepared to answer any questions that you might have. He's been the staff person that's been primarily involved with the getting of the quotes, and he can kind of bring you up to speed.
Elwood?
Elwood Zabel, building official. We formed a committee of city staff, private citizens, 1 counselor that go through the 5 requests for proposal bids that we got back, and going through those and getting some information, recommendations. It was overwhelmingly, they chose McDonald Mack to come in and do the condition assessment.
I know you talked about this before, but can you talk a little bit about the problems that we're seeing up there in the monument?
Well, we've had moisture problems for years up there. What we're looking at is to perform a structural study to make sure that the base is structurally sound, and then move on to the conditions, any mitigations that we need to perform for the moisture, and then looking at and doing some repairs and cosmetic stuff to the monument also. And this will go through, and this condition assessment will give us those answers, what we need to look at for mitigation purposes, what we need to repair, and give us ideas on how to do stuff.
And how much time do they take to come up with these recommendations and inspect?
It's the final report, or they have to perform the 75% report that we need to send up to State Historical Society, and they have 30 days to comment back on that. That needs to be done, I believe it's first part of September that needs to be in, or August. And then we send that up to the state and wait for their comments and concerns, and there may be some adjustments made from those comments. But we need to have a final report back into the state by December 1st.
By what?
By December 1st
December
of this year
2018.
for our grant cycle.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Not the question, just the comments. I was the council that sat on it because it did us on the Historical Society. One comment I want to make is that a lot of work was done by staff and the board members that were on it. They did actually go through, read every proposal. It was pretty in-depth. And the vote that we took, I mean, it was recommend go with them. I think we had one or two votes for different firms, but the rest of the committee went along with them.
I think, on that line of thought, all of the applicants that submitted a proposal have had the qualifications to perform this task. So it's not like we're, rejecting out of incompetence or anything of that nature. It's just that the information provided in the proposal might have been much more thorough in one than another. And so you have to come up with some methodology to select who you believe is the most qualified. And so that methodology was identified. We went through the process, and quite honestly, I was kind of surprised that we had the consistency of most everybody except two picking this one particular firm. It was so they did stand out.
So do we have any idea what they're going to end up recommending? I mean,
That's what we're hiring them
I mean,
for.
that's kind of why we're here, but I mean,
We could save $55,000 if we had that.
But I'm thinking if their what I want to say here, if their recommendation is something that is cost prohibitive, are they going to give us plan A, B, and C?
Well, they're gonna give us some direction with this. What I'm hoping is they're gonna give us the recommendations, and my mindset is that we're gonna have to go back for grants for this.
Sure.
And it's probably gonna be a phased type thing, that if we find something structurally that needs to be taken care of immediately, I think we're gonna have to look at that, and maybe have to find some money somewhere in the city to take care of that. But as we go along, it'll be the most needed stuff, and then work our way to the least.
And those grants are going to want some type of study saying what we need. So.
And correct, we're gonna have to have this study together along with some type of construction documents and specifications to send along with the next grant application to see what's gonna be done and how they're gonna take care of it.
I mean, we need this document before SHPO will even look at our grant application.
Okay. All right. I'm happy now.
Well, it'll be quite interesting, I think, when we get done with this. It may be that the gunite has to come off and it has to go back to the original design so it can breathe, so we don't have, but, one of the more interesting things that has come out on this is that shortly after it was constructed, there's information that they were having trouble with moisture inside the base. And so, this is not a new thing. This has been going on since it was built.
Gotta protect Herman. He protects us, right?
With that, I'll offer to accept the proposal for comprehensive historic building conditions assessment and report to McDonald and Mack Architects for the base bid of $55,000 with additional services of 3 to 4 if needed.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Item 4A, consider resolution declaring official intent of the City of New Ulm to reimburse the expenditures with the proceeds of the tax exempt general obligation permanent improvement revolving fund bond series 2018. Nicole?
This is just a standard resolution that we pass every year. It gives us the ability to move forward with the project and then still recoup those costs once the bonds are issued.
Okay, thank you.
I'll offer the resolution to waive the reading to declare official intent of the City of New Ulm to reimburse the utility, street, alley, and other capital expenditures with proceeds from the tax exempt general obligation permanent improvement revolving fund bonds, Series 2018.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 4B, consider resolution approving the plans and specifications, ordering advertisement for bids and set a bid opening date, and authorize staff to receive and open bids for the 2018 MSAS improvement projects at 10 a.m. Thursday, April 5th, 2018, in the City Hall Council Chambers.
I'll offer that resolution.
Second.
We got a motion and a second off the resolution, waived reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Finance Director, please call the roll.
Counselor Fisher?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item 4C, consider motion appointing a city councillor to attend the lease negotiations between the city and New Ulm Steel.
I'll offer a motion to appoint Counselor Fisher.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to appoint Councilor Fisher. Any more?
Yeah, that would be fine. I can do that.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4D, consider proposal submitted by M&R Paving Excavating Incorporated to enter into a 2-year agreement to operate the city compost site for $42,000 per year management fee. Brian?
Mr. President, City Councilors, approximately 4.5 years ago, MR Paving put a proposal before the City Council and said we will take over the compost site and tree disposal site responsibilities. And since that time, we've had discussions with MR Paving about kind of the feasibility of this. You'll note approximately 3.5 years ago, they were in and discussed with the City Council that that the rental fee would be reduced to $1 that they were paying to the city of New Ulm for the operation of that. And then I think they also came back at some point in time and talked about, can we consider charging, the customers X dollars for a load of compost. Well, at the end of the 5 years, which will be July 31st of 2018, the City Council will have to make a determination. We do have a proposal before us from MR, which they would continue to do the service of operating the compost and tree burning operation, but it would then cost the city $42,000 per year. When I received this, took the opportunity to talk to Kurt Curry, Public Works Superintendent, and he has estimated that we could operate it at approximately $22,500 per year if we did not use an attendant. And if we were to use an attendant, it'd be roughly $37,500 per year. The recommendation would be to return the operation back to the city and operate it without an attendant. Our fears of having a bunch of stuff just dumped on site, even while MR Paving and Excavation was operating the site, was unfounded. It did not show up that with no attendant, there'd just be lots and lots of dumped off things. And so that speaks well for the community, obviously. And then secondly, it tells us that we don't necessarily need to have, when it's open, an attendant checking people in and out. There will always be something that's dropped off. We just know that. There always was when we operated it before. There were things that were dropped off when MR operated it, and there will be some things, but it's pretty limited. I did have a contact earlier today from a firm that also does composting, and we can talk about that between now and July 31st, after MR's contract, ceases to exist. Because I don't have anything on paper that I could provide you, and I don't have anything rolled up. It's just a telephone call. But it's an existing composting company. They currently work with other cities, but their preliminary cost was higher than $22,500. So I'm willing to look at that, but I just need more information from them, what they provide, how they do it, et cetera, et cetera. How does our site play into it, and see if they actually will provide us with a dollar figure. Maybe that's closer to what we anticipated to cost us. Don't know. So at this point in time, I would recommend that the city council look at taking back the operations from MR on August 1 of 2018, and that doesn't stop us from contracting it out to anybody else if somebody else steps forward between now and then.
I'm in agreement with the city manager on that. I mean, this is not a budgetary issue for the street department. We've got the manpower, we have the operational equipment for it, we've done it in the past. I'm gonna move to decline the offer for M&R Paving Excavation Incorporated and Struck Public Works Department to prepare for taking over compost and tree burning site responsibilities August 1, 2018. And do you also want, or we can act on anything we want after that, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, between now and then, you could act on contracting out to somebody else,
Right.
We may never even take possession of it. We may contract it to somebody else before that time, so we have time.
I'll second it for discussion. A couple of questions. I would assume then we would go back to the old way of running this facility. M&R sells their rocks and their mulch and all that would be gone, I would assume, correct? We would not be doing any of that? Or the sifting of the black dirt? I don't think they do that anymore though, do they?
Kurt Curry, Public Works Superintendent. They do screen some and sell it.
Okay.
But yes, my understanding is their whole operation will be gone.
Okay.
We will just have regular compost that would be free to the public to pick up as we did.
And then the
Before.
tree or
We would burn
Burning,
the.
the wood burning.
Right, correct.
The equipment, when they took it over, did they use the equipment that we had originally?
We did it for them. We charged them
Oh,
to
okay.
grind the compost, so we have all the equipment we need.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
They also extended the hours, opened up a little earlier, stayed a little later. What would our intention be there?
For the last 3.5 years, they've been open 24/7.
What would our intention be?
It's the same.
The same?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that was
As Mr. Grauman stated, it's been relatively clean as far as the illegal dumping goes, so the community, in my opinion, is used to having it open Saturdays, Sundays, all day, so if it's not a problem, why lock it up?
Good.
Right.
Sure.
Well, I know the Census Service work crew is down there in that corner cutting wood, so they're there a lot of times on the
Correct.
weekends,
Yep.
which is just people around and,
Sure.
you know, I think
Yeah,
that
and the trap
helps.
range there.
Yep, and the
Yep.
trap range and, dog walker, people
Right.
on the
Yep.
trails and, so, this facility's used a lot by a lot of our folks, so, okay, that's,
Maybe something to consider, maybe to market it. Maybe there's another company out there that, specializes in compost that might come out. I don't know if we can solicit or put out for bid.
well, I
come
think
back
M&R
with
was
some
really hoping
proposals,
they could
you know.
sell mulch and sell rocks.
Correct.
And I think they did, they just didn't sell as much as they thought I think they thought there was gonna be a real big business there and just didn't materialize like they thought it was gonna be, so. but-
Yep.
So we would not sift any more black dirt then either,
We could.
so would we?
We're looking into the opportunity. We have a sifter that we had bought for gravel. We're trying to convert it into compost. I don't know if it's gonna work yet, but we're working on it.
Then we almost have to man it to sell it then, right?
Well, if it's an easy, not time-consuming ordeal,
What we did last time that we operated it was near I think the last 2 or 3 years, we would have somebody come in and they would sift out the bad stuff, the
Yeah, well,
pop cans and
Glass
whatever else,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
the oddities that are in the material. And then we would just say, there it is,
Okay.
free,
All right.
come get it. Without the, without the sifting of the big chunks and the odd materials that are found in the compost, some of the contractors that were picking it up are going like, yeah, well, who wants to be dumping a load and there's flat pop cans and stuff in with the black dirt. So we decided to upgrade the value of it. And then we even had a pile down here by
where the gas pump is now.
where the
Oh,
gas
yeah,
pump
yeah, that's right.
are.
Yeah.
And we dumped the high quality stuff there and people would just come pick it up. So we didn't charge anybody for it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sounds good. Any more questions?
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt.
Bet.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 5A, consider acceptance of a list of claims paid and approve a list of claims to be paid. Claims paid in amount of $935,581.71 and to be paid in amount of $251,775.82.
I'll offer the motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. No more business. Meeting adjourned.